everybody, and happy Fun Fact Friday. Today, I'm going to talk about something that's super important, especially if you're just starting out with your drumming, and that is your warm-up. So a lot of people, myself included, when I was younger and just started drumming, warm-ups were super boring, and I didn't understand how important they were, so I would often skip them and just get right to it. And the main reasons why we practice, why we warm up, I should say, which becomes evident the more you don't, is how much it stretches you out as a drummer and how much it kind of helps you to utilize the proper technique when you're learning things. So when you're an instrumentalist, it's the same kind of idea where you have to warm up your embouchure, you have to warm up your mouth. And drummers, obviously, we use a lot of muscles when it comes to playing our instrument, so it's super important that we stretch those out and warm those up. So the first thing that we do is we got to do a little stretch, right? And I do this especially because I'm like feeling tight before I drum. I've got a bad wrist, so I always want to make sure I've got that kind of limbered up before I go. And then we always do the same thing. All drummers will be doing this to warm up, and that is called legato strokes. In a more structured term, we use eights, okay? So legato strokes are the big strokes. Those are the ones where we really utilize bounce. We really try to make a nice open, flowy sound like this. And you'll notice like my stick's just flying, right? Like I'm basically just controlling its bounce off of the pad. The opposite of a legato stroke, well, for the case of proving how open it is just kind of like this. Right? You can even hear the difference. It's kind of choked compared to... You gotta let it sing. Drums sing, you gotta let them sing. So the best way that we utilize that is something called eights. Eights meaning eighth notes. We do a full bar of eighth notes on each hand. So we do eight eighth notes, and it looks like this. And once we do that, we start to stretch out the muscles that we're going to be using for those big open strokes. And we also are practicing our technique when it comes to back fingers, when it comes to our fulcrum, which is the pinch, where we get all our control, but also how we're controlling our wrist and how and when we control our elbow, right? Which is not as often as you may think. So that's one of the most important things we do. And then we like to work on different things that will focus on different aspects of our playing. So one thing that's super important is our accents and our taps, which makes things more musical, right? So accents are kind of like those big strokes, and taps are the tiny strokes. And we like to combine them to create almost like melody. That's kind of what a drummer's melody comes from, is our accents and taps. So it turns something like this into something like this. I put flams in there for fun, because I can't help myself. Right? That's way more exciting then. It gives it a lot more character. So I like to practice those low notes, those taps, because those are the ones that are hard to play. So I might do eights down here. And then I might try doing 3/16 notes on a hand, just to kind of beef up my confidence at that low level. And then see how much I can get it down there. Right? So that's just one thing that we like to work on. And then getting in between the two. For young people, you often have actual music that you need to be working on, right? Like music from school, music from a band you might be in, or whatever. So I would always be focusing on a warm-up that includes something that you're struggling with in that piece, or something that comes up a lot. We want to practice the thing that we're going to be playing, right? We want to make sure that we have proper technique for the thing that we're going to be doing. For me, I don't play a lot of rep anymore. Like sometimes I find things online just to challenge myself. But for me, it's always about improving my technique, right? Stuff like my diddles, something about my timing or consistency. So like stuff like that. So only you know what you need to work on. And if you don't know, ask someone. Ask a teacher, ask someone who's been drumming longer than you, ask any sort of educator, professional, someone who's got experience. So happy drumming, happy practicing. Warming up is super, super, super important. Don't forget it. Okay, I'll see you next week. Bye.